Hello again and welcome everyone to another cast brought to you by Seriosity. I'm here casting for StarCastTV and it's going to be a match between YSC and Soma. Let's get right into that. The map is Eclipse and we have YSC spawning in the top right position as a red Protoss. In the bottom left we have Soma as a yellow Zerg. Eclipse, one of the new maps and honestly one of the better maps. I like maps where you have a flexibility with which third to take. You can see Zerg can take either of these bases as their third in this position. Usually in ZvP you'll see them take this third instead of this close one over here. Reason being, at least in my opinion, is because Zergs can defend both bases more easily when they're farther spread apart against Terran. Against Protoss you want them close, so you'll see this third base more likely taken. Here we have YSC heading towards the natural. See a pylon and immediately changes mind, goes back. It's a two-player map after all, so usually you're gonna get that fast scout in, but it looks like YSC wants to do something else. Curious to see what someone does. Already has that overlord in production. We'll see at 200 if he decides to make a pool right here. There's that pool. And larva tricking the larva over, and looks like he's just gonna go for that. We're going into one gate. This is 10 gate from YSC. That's why the probe went back into the main. Probe gonna cross the path of the overlord, and with 9 drones in the mineral line now, we're gonna see Soma set up to take that expansion. YSC can be annoying, trying to delay that hatchery a little bit, but we can see Soma's a tent. Jin is on his drone, trying to spit on this probe as much as possible, shoo it away, and just before 2 minutes we see that hatchery being made. Now YSC is gonna make zealots. The overlord does take a while to get there, so he won't know exactly what's going on, but based on the probe scout, he at least knows it wasn't a pylon scout. Of course, that doesn't mean everything. It could still be forge scouting, and looks like he makes 2 drones and 1 set of lings. He's holding this larva. Now he sees this zealot, and I won't be surprised if the rest of the larva is now made into Zerglings. Probe needs to be kept alive to see the number of lings that have been made. Sees only the 2. So I'm hunting down this probe. Zealot is about to arrive here, and there we see a couple extra Zerglings being made. He needs at least 4 Zerglings for each Zealot that's out on the map. When they don't have speed, that's basically a number you want to get to force favorable engagements. With too few Zerglings, the Zealots can micro around them. And here we go. Now we have 2 Zealots. We have the 6 lings. So we're still adding more links, going up to 8 and then 10. And behind this we see YSC is expanding with his Nexus. Still no forge down quite yet. Good micro there from YSC, picking off 1 link. You see both players trying to avoid getting their low HP units targeted, and YSC gets cleaned up by those Zerglings. This is more Zerglings than he was expecting. I would say it was only 2 Zealots on the map, and now Soma behind this is droning up. Should expect YSC to play defensively from now on. We have this wall from YSC which has 2 gaps, one on the top of the gateway and one below the forge, and just in time we see that zealot finish. Soma of course has enough Zerglings here to just pressure on the gateway, and we see behind this he's going for lair. We have a scouting probe here about to arrive at the natural. YSC snuck this out earlier before these links could arrive at the natural, and now Soma's forcing YSC to move out by targeting that gateway. It's very low HP, but with 3 zealots now he should be able to defend. Quite a lot of damage was done to this gateway, and now we see even some probes were killed, so very good trade there for Soma. Again, targeting that gateway, already down to half health, all of the shield removed. Still see this probe alive, sees that it's lair. There's Cybernetics core on the way, but you can see the timing of the lair against the Cybernetics core is actually way in favor of Zerg. In a normal game, the Lair and the Cybernetics Core, when I say normal game, I mean Forge Fast Expand against Lair. The Lair and the Cybernetics Core start at roughly the same time, and that allows the Zerg to defend their overlords with Corsairs, but this is actually way faster. They're Spire before the Cybernetics Core is even done. We do have 3 Zealots pressuring Soma's third base, 4th about to arrive. Zerglings don't have speed quite yet because it was Lair first, and YC is finding himself in a favorable position here in the mineral line. Soma has to be careful. We have 1 low HP drone. Lings coming in. Still no speed. He's just waiting for it. And with speed finally done, you can see he's going to get engaging. Probe actually providing some support here. Makes the Zealots kill the Lings with 1 less hit. And good defense by Soma. Didn't lose any drones. Looks like, oh, good reaction by him to pull back that drone. He's droning up heavily behind us. And we see YSC adding that Stargate finally, but you can see the Stargate is very late. And what compensation does he have for this late tech? I'm not really sure he has any, so I think Soma's in a favorable position. 4th hatch going down. Actually, that's 5th hatch, 4th hatch already at the natural. And he's not saving Larva, so this isn't going to be the 5 Muta opener. Spire is already done. There's a Hydrodent, 2nd gas, and Evolution Chamber. So it's just standard 5 hatch Hydra play after Lair. Here we have cannons for YC, and he knows Soma's Spire timing. So that's why he's adding these cannons. He wouldn't be ready to face those 5 mutas. Usually you have at least a couple Corsairs by that time, but because his Stargate was so late with respect to the Spire timing, he's just making these cannons blindly just in case. It's a safety measure. Here the Corsair is gonna scout. He has to be careful. He already sees these Scourge on the map. Now this 3 Zealot move out is unexpected. This Overlord wasn't able to spot it, and it's forcing Soma into kind of an awkward position. We really want these drones to be mining here, not being pulled off. This is a lot of mining time loss, even though no drones have gone down. Forcing them to drill like this and adding all these Zerglings hurts Zerg's economy quite a bit. But with another 3 Zealots going down, you can see Soma is just gonna drone up here. You can see he's only adding a few Hydras, but mostly drones. And the faster Zerg gets to their ideal drone number, the better it is for them. He already has enough minerals to make that 6 hatchery, 35 drones. Hydra speed almost done. Let's look at YSC's base. We have Storm already on the way. He did take up fast for the Storm, and I say fast with respect to the rest of his build, not fast overall. Normally High Temporals are already out gathering energy. 6 hatch for Soma. And there's Hydra range. He keeps droning up. He's at 38 drones already. The higher this number gets, the scarier it is for YSC. +1 weapons already done, so he gets +1 armor. And +1 armor has become meta because it's much better against Hydraless. And because Zergs are staying in this heavy Hydra mid-game with a delayed Hive, the armor is actually more useful than that 2nd weapons upgrade. We have 3 Corsairs with +1, and if you're wondering why only 3 Corsairs, not more, basically if Zerg ever muta switches 3 Corsairs, well, not enough. It's a good starting point. What's really key here is the +1 upgrade, already having that researched. If you're getting +1 upgrade in response to mutas, it's already too late. Here's someone taking a 4th base with his 7th hatchery, and another drone round from Soma. And we're almost at that optimal drone saturation. He's really been able to do this because of all those early game Zealot losses. And he's gonna pressure the front, but there's already Storm. I think he just wants to snipe this low HP gateway and this Forge, trying to deny this upgrade. Spreading out his Hydras to minimize damage from the Storm. Of course, if YC were to Storm here, it would be kind of a whiff because Soma is on top of his units and he'll be ready to pull back at any moment. There's a storm. Does damage most of the Hydras, but only kills one, and the Hydras with range are able to keep poking at this forge. Of course, when you put the Hydras in hold position and they get hit by a storm, all Hydras that were shooting all of a sudden stop, so someone has to be on top of his units. You can see he kept droning up and he's at 48 now. 48 drones with 3 gas, and he's getting lurkers. Robo timing from YC at around 10 minutes. This is actually a late robo. Everything about YC's build has been a little bit late. Just wasn't able to do enough with those early games out. We have second forge in the back, so YC is gonna go for that double forge, double upgrades, and this will give him a very powerful mid-game army with 2 forges. But you can see he's lacking in other areas. He has had no map presence at all after throwing away all those zealots. He does at least get +1 armor to finish. His ground army is going to be quite strong here. Decent spread of overlords out on the map. And now we have a ton of zealots, but the lurkers are already on the way, and there's nothing for YSC to combat these lurkers. Only zealots and high templars, observers not even started, and here come the lurkers. They're actually burrowing outside of vision. And could this be a stop lurker play? We have the 3 Corsairs with +1, and here come that full drone cycle saturating this 4th base. You can see on 4 bases, Soma is fully saturated. It's a very scary moment for YC. He has to get something done. Finally mixing in those Dragoons, making them 8 at a time, and because YC never moved out, now Soma's just gonna lurker contain, and this gets very scary for Protoss very quickly. Usually you're the one taking favorable engagements in PvZ with Storm, with Dragoons supporting the High Templars. You can get a very cost-effective army, especially with double forges upgrading, but that all changes against lurker contains because you're forced into a bad attack basically always, and you have to break out of this position. Look at the concave from Soma, spreading out his Hydras in several different groups. You have YC moving forward with just Dragoons and High Templars, but you don't want to waste dust storms on the lurkers. You want to storm the Hydras if they come in. You have the Scourge trying to snipe the Observer, and again, these are good storms by YC. You can see he's very patient. A couple more lurkers being morphed in the back. You can see how much production Soma has. He has 3 hatcheries at his nat, 3 combined between, or at his third, 3 combined between his natural and his main. So that's 6 hatcheries, 7th, 8th hatchery on the way, 4 gas Zerg. The one thing that's going to be in YC's favor is this +2/+2, but we see +2 for Soma already done, and at least for the moment, it's going to be at least a little bit more before YC's weapons 2 is finished. Another good storm. He doesn't want to move out with the zealots quite yet. You really want to hold back those zealots as long as possible. All these lurker spines they're eating. You see how quickly they fall, and YC doesn't have any storms left. 1 High Templar gathering energy here, but look at Soma just powering through this concave of Hydra, and the lurker contain is still up, and YC writes that GG. This was utter domination from Soma, basically holding off that 1 gate without taking any real damage. Allowed him to go lair, and lair against 1 gate is not very common because usually you don't have the larva to support the economy of going lair and 3 hatch at the same time, so you're basically cutting corners to get all that done. But he defended quite easily, and YC never really have any presence on the map after that. Very well played by Soma.